The clock ticked softly in the corner of the dimly lit room. 3 a.m., a time when everything feels still, yet somehow the silence is deafening. Sarah sat alone at the table, the weight of her thoughts heavier than the quiet of the night. Her coffee cup, long forgotten, sat empty in front of her, a symbol of all the moments she had wasted. Moments lost to doubt, regret, and the suffocating noise in her mind. Through the window, the faint light from a distant street lamp cast long shadows, but it was enough for her to see the reflection of a woman she no longer recognized. She felt adrift, caught between a past she couldn't change and a future that seemed increasingly impossible to grasp. Disappointment, fear, and frustration were her constant companions, and hope, it felt like an illusion, something too far to touch. She had lived in this place for so long, each day blending into the next. A job that drained her spirit. Friendships that once felt like family, now distant and hollow. Dreams that were once full of fire, now buried beneath the weight of everything that had gone wrong. But tonight, as she stared at that empty cup, something inside her broke free, a quiet whisper deep in her chest, the faint stirrings of a desire she hadn't let herself feel in far too long. "I can't keep doing this," she whispered, the words barely audible but powerful enough to stir a long-forgotten part of her. She didn't know what was next, but she knew something had to change. Not tomorrow, not someday, right now. Her gaze shifted to the Bible resting on the table, its pages worn, the words both familiar and distant. It had always been there, waiting for her to listen. Tonight, it felt like the lifeline she desperately needed. A few years earlier, Sarah had been filled with purpose, a woman with dreams, goals, and a future that seemed within her grasp. She had vision, passion, and a heart full of hope. But somewhere along the way, the noise of life had drowned it all out. The endless to-do lists, the constant running, the distractions that never seemed to stop. It was like she was always chasing something she could never quite reach. She tried. She tried so hard, but the effort felt empty, like running in circles with no finish line in sight. "I'll start tomorrow," she would tell herself. But tomorrow never came. And each day, the gap between the life she wanted and the life she had grew wider. She didn't know where she had gone wrong. All she knew was that she had forgotten how to dream, forgotten how to believe in herself, forgotten that she even had the right to try. That night, in the stillness of her living room, Sarah opened the Bible, her fingers trembling as they landed on the familiar passage that had always stood out to her. "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Romans 12:2. She had read those words 100 times, but tonight, they pierced her heart like never before. The pattern of her life, the distractions, the fear, the self-doubt, had kept her stuck, trapped in a cycle that no longer served her. It was time to break free. But how? How could she change a lifetime of habits? Where do I even start? The next morning, Sarah woke up before the sun, the room still dark, her thoughts racing. She didn't feel ready. She didn't have all the answers, and the weight of uncertainty still hung heavy on her heart. But she had heard something once, a truth that had stuck with her. Faith without action is dead. She didn't have to know everything. She didn't have to be perfect. She just had to start. With trembling hands, she grabbed her phone and typed herself a quick note. Start with today. Just one step. Her first step was small but sacred. Instead of diving into the chaos of emails or social media, she took 10 minutes. 10 minutes to be still. 10 minutes to pray, to ask for guidance, to quiet the world around her, to listen. And in those 10 minutes, Sarah felt a peace settle over her, a peace she hadn't known in years. Afterward, she set a simple yet profound goal. Wake up every day, 30 minutes earlier, to meditate, to journal, and to reflect on what she was grateful for. It wasn't much, but it was something, and it was hers. Days bled into weeks, and slowly, the fog began to lift. Sarah's new routine wasn't easy, and some days were harder than others. But every day, she took one small step. Each one felt like a little victory. There were mornings when her mind screamed for her to give up, when her body begged her to sleep just a little longer, when the weight of the world seemed unbearable. But she kept going, one step at a time.